The Kavarian delegation had expected many things when they arrived at the Human Research Station orbiting Proxima Centauri b. They had expected primitive facilities, crude technology, perhaps even a certain apologetic deference from the species that had only achieved interstellar travel 3 decades prior. What they had not expected was Oscar Chen standing in the airlock wearing a torn T-shirt that read, "I survived the Kepler 442 plague, and all I got was this lousy immunity," drinking coffee from a container that appeared to be a repurposed fuel canister. "Welcome aboard the Defiant Probability," Oscar said, gesturing with his makeshift mug. "Sorry about the mess. We're running experiments on the stellar corona and things got a bit melty." Ambassador Thelkar's translator implant struggled with the casual inflection. His species, the Kavarians, had spent 12,000 years perfecting the art of scientific inquiry within carefully controlled parameters. They had mapped 17 galaxies, cataloged 4 million species, and never conducted research that could be described as melty. "Mr. Chen," Thelkar began, his vocal membranes vibrating with barely contained concern, "our preliminary scans indicate that your station is operating at 340% of its designed capacity. Your reactor is running temperatures that should be physically impossible for your shielding materials, and unless our instruments are malfunctioning, you appear to be inside the star's chromosphere." "Yeah, about that." Oscar scratched his head, looking genuinely apologetic for the first time. "We were supposed to maintain a safe distance, but Arya found something interesting. And, well," he shrugged, "you know how it is." Thelkar did not, in fact, know how it was. Oscar led them through corridors that hummed with barely contained energy. Coolant dripped from overhead pipes. Warning lights flashed in rhythmic patterns that suggested multiple simultaneous emergencies. A young technician rushed past carrying what appeared to be a quantum processor held together with actual adhesive tape. They found Aria Rodriguez in the primary laboratory, surrounded by holographic displays showing impossible data streams. She was simultaneously eating what looked like a sandwich, recalibrating a sensor array with her foot, and arguing with an AI about relativistic plasma dynamics. "Aria, the Kavarians are here for the inspection," Oscar announced. She glanced up, her dark eyes bright with excitement. "Perfect timing. Tell them what we found." Thelkar's secondary hearts began palpitating. In his experience, when humans said perfect timing, disaster inevitably followed. "We've discovered a way to extract zero-point energy directly from stellar fusion processes," Arya explained, wiping mustard from her fingers onto her lab coat. "Everyone said it was impossible because of the temperature differentials and quantum decoherence issues, but we figured if we just built a station that flies inside a star." Thelkar's translator barely captured his tone of horror. "Well, when you say it like that, it sounds reckless," Oscar interjected. "But technically, we're in the chromosphere, not the actual fusion core. That would be stupid. This entire operation violates 47 different Galactic Science Council safety protocols," Thelkar protested. "The radiation alone should have killed you all within hours." Arya exchanged a glance with Oscar. "Did we tell them about the radiation?" "I thought you told them about the radiation." "We adapted," Arya said simply, turning back to Thelkar. "Turns out human DNA is way more flexible than anyone thought. Sure, we're all technically mutating at a cellular level, but our engineered symbiotic bacteria keep everything in check. We're actually healthier than when we started." The Kavarian delegation stood in stunned silence. In 12,000 years of spacefaring civilization, they had never encountered a species that treated genetic mutation as a minor occupational hazard. "The energy output you're achieving," whispered Thelkar's scientific advisor, staring at the data streams with a mixture of awe and terror. "It's 3 orders of magnitude beyond our most optimistic theoretical models." "Yeah, That's what happens when you stop worrying about what's safe and start asking what's possible, Oscar said, refilling his fuel canister coffee mug from a machine that was definitely not designed for brewing beverages. Your people spent millennia building the perfect cage of protocols and safety margins. We just didn't. An alarm began blaring. Red lights pulsed through the laboratory. "Proximity warning!" the station AI announced in a tone that suggested this was a routine occurrence. "Solar flare magnitude X47 approaching. Estimated time to impact, 90 seconds. The Kavarian delegation froze in terror. An X-class flare would sterilize the station in seconds. Arya didn't even look up from her calculations. "Oscar, can you handle it?" "I'm in the middle of something." "On it." Oscar walked to a console and began typing with one hand while still holding his coffee. "Redirecting plasma shields to 27%. Should be enough." 27%? Thelkar could barely form words. "That's not even close to sufficient." "For you guys, maybe," Arya said, finally glancing at the approaching stellar catastrophe on one of her displays. "But we calibrated our shields based on what we could actually survive, not what some risk assessment committee thinks we should survive. Turns out, we're tougher than anyone thought." The solar flare hit. The station shuddered. Lights flickered. For 5 seconds, the defiant probability was engulfed in plasma that could vaporize a small moon. Then it passed. Arya took another bite of her sandwich. Oscar sipped his coffee. The alarms quieted. "Gentlemen," Arya said, turning to face the traumatized Kavarian delegation with a smile that was equal parts friendly and terrifying. "Welcome to human science. We don't follow the rules because we don't think they apply to us. We've been proving the universe wrong since we crawled out of our caves, and we're not stopping now." Thelkar's report to the Galactic Science Council would eventually use terms like inspiring recklessness, controlled insanity, and the most brilliant idiots in the known universe. But in that moment, standing in a research station that had no business existing, watching two humans casually defy the laws of physics and common sense simultaneously, he could only think one thing. The galaxy would never be the same.